Hey, Christian, I got this really cool idea. You're not gonna believe this.
Oh, hey, Brendan. Funny seeing you here. Do you have an idea? What are you cooking up this time?
Yeah, the original Winnie the Pooh book entered public domain recently. I wanna adapt a slasher film. It'll be the best thing ever.
Wow, Brendan. A slasher movie? That sounds silly. There couldn't possibly be a market for a slasher movie starring a children's cartoon character from 1926.
Oh, but that's the beauty of it, Christian. The novelty is that it couldn't possibly work, but the outrageous premise is sure to sell seats. It's foolproof.
I guess we'll have to try. It would be crazy if this movie is successful enough to spawn a sequel.
And I can't believe it fucking was.
Well, you know.
Like, for fuck's sakes, man.
It's,
really? Holy
people
mother
are
of
suckers,
God.
Man. I don't know what to tell you.
People are a lot of things, suckers included, but holy mother of God. I'm pretty sure this movie's a crime against the Geneva Convention. Holy mother of God.
Man, I know this is a bit, but you're spoiling your own game a little bit at the end for the end of the podcast by saying it was successful.
I gave you a small window. All right. I gave you the if statement that says, my normal if statement, we're going to go programmer logic. My normal if statement is if successful, therefore final result must be greater than budget, right? That's really the only if statement we ever have. So I took away 50% of your options. It could have been worse. It could have been better. So when you get past the budget, it's going to make more than the budget. And that's fine. That's fine. But the question will be how much, Christian. So we haven't spoiled everything.
This is true.
You see, I thought ahead.
Yeah,
and I feel like nipping this in the butt out the gate is something that I couldn't possibly hold onto. Is all I'm getting at. This just needed to be identified quickly because it is important to me. If they're gonna pay us to fucking look at these movies and give our opinion, I swear to God.
It sounds like you have a lot to talk about. Let's get through the summary first, and then we can really dive into it. How about that?
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Public Domain Expansion Podcast. You know it, you love it, but just to remind anyone whose first time it might be, we're the guys that take works in the public domain and wonder to ourselves, what would some of these things look like if they were anime instead? We've got some exciting ones cooked up for you this time, so let's jump right in. First, I've got a classic novel for you, The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells, a book that takes place in the early 1900s and has themes connected to imperialism and human evolution, which are two ideas Japanese animators are no stranger to when it comes to telling stories. Plus, we love a good alien invasion story here. The next selection is going to sound kind of niche at first, but I'm going to need you to bear with me. I'm a big fan of vampires, and as you may know, and Dracula has already been covered in anime before. So my selection instead is the 1964 film, The Last Man on Earth. Now, why this one in particular, you might be asking? It's because the film is based directly on the novel I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. Unfortunately, though, the novel itself is not public domain until 2049, not to be confused with Blade Runner. So make sure to stay subscribed until then when I can pitch that one to you all. This is actually reminding me of a movie I saw recently that is also in the horror genre based on Winnie the Pooh, which recently entered public domain. I bet there's anime potential there too, but let me tell you about this movie first, and you can tell me if I'm crazy or not. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, is a slasher film that applies a horror twist to the beloved children's book of the early 1900s. The film follows a group of women who travel to a remote house in the 1,000 Acre Woods to get some time away from the hustle and bustle of the modern world.
Oops, that's wrong.
Unfortunately, these woods are inhabited by half animal, half human hybrids that were abandoned in the past by the only human who loved them, Christopher Robin. Now, with nothing but revenge against humankind on their minds, two of the animal hybrids, Winnie the Pooh, and Piglet, begin mercilessly and brutally slaughtering the women and all else who cross their path. Will the women be able to stand up to the creatures and make it out alive? Or will they be nothing more than a pot of honey for Pooh to slurp up?
Extra zero on the Acre Woods there. My bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know that the address that they sit in is 100 acre. I didn't know if maybe like the woods themselves were the 1,000 acre woods and their address was 100.
It's the 100 acre woods. I just threw an extra zero on there by accident. Got too trigger happy with the zero key.
Yeah, it'd be that way sometimes.
Yeah.
So I hated this. I hated everything about this.
Oh no.
This was awful. This wasn't even Raz awful. This is just like who gave this to us? Who gave this to us?
You may not believe this one, but this was Rin's recommendation this month.
Oh my goodness, Rin, please, can we have a chat? I am sorry for what I'm about to say over the next 60 minutes of your audible hearing, but holy hell, did I hate this fucking movie.
I'm not convinced that she actually enjoys this movie. I wouldn't be surprised if she chose like one of the shittiest spooky time movies to just recommend for us.
And I mean, honestly, it was a great bit. You put me through the ringer and you made me stomach this for an hour and 24 fucking minutes. I know exactly how long it is because when I looked at it, I couldn't fucking believe it. And I was about 35 minutes into this fucking movie when I was like, how is there 84 minutes of nothing waiting for me? Anyway. Jesus fucking, I watched this movie with an open mind, an open heart. I really did. Yeah. I want to let the record show I am very acquainted with Winnie the Pooh. I used to watch that shit and like Franklin, Little Bear. These are all these like anthropomorphic animals that, befriend humans or sometimes not befriend humans. But either way, it's just animals that are made to look like humans or whatever, so that they're more approachable and more importantly, easier to market to other children. Like when Little Bear became a toothbrush fucking mascot or whatever the fuck. Either way, like all of these things are like this is maybe not important to my childhood, but it was all relevant to my childhood, right? So I am no stranger to the history of this film. Before I watched it this evening, which I had not watched it before this evening, I was very aware of when this movie was going to come out, the immediate fucking Reddit fury that was like, I can't fucking believe this is real. This sounds either A, really stupid, or B, the most ingenious thing I've ever heard of. And I remember reading the articles where it was like, yeah, they're making this Winnie the Pooh thing because it's finally entering public domain, and the Disney's fucking pissed about it because they've been trying to push back Winnie the Pooh entering the public domain forever, because if this enters public domain, then Mickey Mouse is going to be on the table for this exact same fucking treatment, or at least the fucking the boathouse Mickey or whatever the hell that fucking version of him is. And Disney fucking, they can't have that because that's gonna that could be tied up in their brand identity, and they can't fucking stand that concept. So I was very aware of the pull and the rigmarole this movie brought to the table back in the year of our Lord 2022 or 2021, whatever the fuck I first heard about it. I really did hope going into this movie that it was going to be a decent slasher film. I really did. I could not be more disappointed in the time I spent watching this movie than I ever could have prepared myself for. And that is a true honest Brendan take. I love fucking Friday the 13th movies. I love Halloween. I love fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What was this movie? What was I watching? It was like 50% porno and 50% shitty fucking slasher movie. Not even in a funny way.
I would argue that a lot of porn films have better plot than this.
All right, so I've given you Christian. I can't. Please do something.
Let me take over for a second here. This movie fucking awful. It sucks.
Thank you. Thank you for vindicating
this movie
me.
is fucking garbage as far as every metric can possibly go, except with like the only potential like good part of it is that they were a little bit creative with the kills themselves. Only a little bit. Not like a lot, but
I guess
like a tiny bit. I all of it is kind of stuff that I feel that I've seen before in some metric or another. Woman getting stabbed through the mouth with a machete, like that's not out of the ordinary. Woman gets her head run over by a car. It's just kind of the way that they end up happening, I guess, that makes them slightly more unique. Like it's and there's a minor amount of novelty to the fact that it's just some fat dude in a Winnie the Pooh mask driving a car, and some guy in a generic pig mask stepping on her to keep her from, like, I don't know, rolling out of the way or whatever. All of this is like, so. The reason I saw some people complaining that they don't even look like the Winnie the Pooh and Piglet that there's a very specific reason for that, actually. Winnie the Pooh and his friends have gone to the public domain, but the Disney portrayals of them specifically have not. So they can't be made to look like the animations you grew up on. They have to look fundamentally different somehow. You're basically just allowed to use the general likeness and the name and everything else that's contained within the book.
The closer I think maybe this is just me splitting hairs, but my impression was that, and even in terms of utilizing the likeness, you can only utilize the likeness of the 1924 or 26 version. Otherwise, it has to be a completely different iteration, like that is not like internationally or commercially recognized for the character.
Correct. So
yes,
it essentially comes down to that. So like anybody complaining ever about the fact that it doesn't, for whatever reason, their gripe is that they don't look like the Pooh and Piglet that they know. That is why. If you're listening to this and you're one of those people, that is why, and you haven't figured that out by now in the last like year and a half since the movie's been out. I don't think that's gonna. I hope that's not the only thing keeping your Letterboxd star rating from a 1 to a 5. But if it is, then congratulations, you found a new way to like this movie. But anyway, going back to the point. This movie is awful in every metric. There is no redeemable quality to this other than make a drinking game out of it and get blasted with your friends for the fuck of it.
Christian, I think the only way you can watch this movie is when you're high. And I am not somebody that does that. I look at this movie and I think it is impossible to have fun without any form of inebriation. That is my honest take. That is my honest opinion of this film.
I wholeheartedly
don't even think you can
agree.
make a drinking game out of it. Because I think a drinking game requires like rule sets that's like repeatable, like something that you expect to. You know what makes Mean Girls a great drinking game? It's quotable. They have reoccurring gags. They have reoccurring like visual gags, not even just like verbal ones. This movie, without like just sitting here and being an asshole for another 35 minutes, it doesn't have things like that. I don't even think you can make a drinking game out of this movie. I think the only way anybody can enjoy this movie is to be inebriated, and then when you're bored, you're like, oh, dude, you want to watch that fucking Winnie the Pooh slasher movie that came out 2 years ago? That sounds kind of funny right about now. And then just fucking go for it. Maybe if I was on shrooms, I'd have a different opinion of this movie, but I wasn't. I was not. I hated it. I hated my time. It was a waste of everybody's time.
I just as far as anything goes, the it's just a generic, and I even hesitate to say generic, slasher film with the only connection to the IP Winnie the Pooh and anything associated with it is the fact that is the names. There's really nothing else, like not even lore wise. They use the names. You got Winnie, right? You got Piglet, you got Christopher Robin, you got the 100 Acre Woods, and then it's a dude in a bear mask and a dude in a pig mask. That's it. There's No other, like, you want to talk about
there are
cash grab?
There are like 8 or 9 other characters in this movie that none of them have any relation to the Winnie the Pooh franchise at all.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if Christopher Robin's wife at the beginning, Mary, if that is an actual, like, at any point, I mean, obviously Christopher Robin in the original book is a child, but even in future iterations, I don't even know if Christopher Robin gets old enough to have a wife. So she's a random. The group of 6 women, randoms. The group of 4 dudes that roll up in the last quarter of the movie, randoms. None of it is connected to the original IP other than a couple of names thrown in there, and that is just such like a blatant cash grab. There are minor head nods to like things that happen, or just other characters, but that aren't included in this movie, but are in future, because technically speaking, their copyright wasn't up yet when they made this movie. But then when when they were making the second one that came out earlier this year, their copyrights were up, so they were able to use them.
Is that why?
I believe that is why you only see Pooh and Piglet. And you don't see Owl and Rabbit.
God.
I know for a fact Rabbit. I'm pretty sure Owl also. That's why they mention them in the beginning of the movie, but they are not actually seen. So
okay, so yeah, let's start with the beginning of the movie. So we at the very beginning of the movie, we have the Christopher Robin stuff, where Christopher. Well, I guess before we get the animated intro that is the thing that you're referring to, which I think is very important. So this is how they set the stage, which actually, by this point, I was like, okay, yeah, no, this is a decent, like, cold open. The animatic that they open with is like, okay, here, we're going to inform you as to why Winnie the Pooh characters are fucking murderous, vicious psychos, which I was like, fantastic. I need context.
Great lore. Love it.
Love lore. We get into this, and they go into, well, at one point they had a friend named Christopher. Well, they were all like, they were hanging out in the woods, but you know, they starved regularly, and they didn't really have a lot of social awareness, and they were fending for themselves, and it was really hard for them. Then this motherfucking kid, Christopher Robin, came out of nowhere, out of the blue one day, basically fucking kept them from dying. Thanks to him, they were able to eat, they were able to play, they had lots of fun as children, blah 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 blah. And then as the time goes on, Christopher Robin gets too old, and he's like, I gotta go to college, so I'm gonna go to college. I'll be back at some point. Well, unfortunately, Pooh and Friends don't have a good fucking time from here on out. So from here on out, Pooh and Friends, which are presumably probably 18, the time when Christopher Robin left, they go into the following winter and unable to procure enough food. They're fucking starving. They're going mad, and they make the executive decision. So at this point in the story, by the way, Tigger is the only one not included, I believe, from the original animals. I don't even know what the situation is with the copyright with Tigger. Maybe he came way the fuck later.
Tigger also was like 2 years later. So
okay, so the only ones that they mention are Pooh, Piglet, Rabbit, Owl, and Eeyore. And at some point, while they were in the middle of starving, they did a fucking vote, and they were like, we gotta eat one of us. One of us has to be the one that fucking gives their body up to satiate the rest of us. And I guess they just decided Eeyore was gonna draw the short straw.
Rip my boy Eeyore.
Rip my boy Eeyore. So Eeyore from this point onward is no longer a relevant character, probably because he's the least anthropomorphic of the bunch. So he'd probably be the hardest one to put in a suit, to be honest.
Oh, do you mean don't act like they wouldn't just fucking buy a donkey mask and fucking slap it on a dude. Let's.
Well, no, but Eeyore walks on all fours all the time. The other ones walk on their hind legs.
It's never. That wouldn't have stopped these people.
I'm just saying it makes a little bit of sense in my mind.
Sure,
anyway,
if you're gonna you try to give credit to these people where you can, huh?
Listen, I'm digging deep. All right. The things in life, sometimes it requires growth. It requires perseverance, and sometimes
compromise.
It also compromise. Thank you. Exactly. All right. This is this is adulthood, Christian. All right. Anyway, going back to all the things I love about this movie. list of one.
Yeah, the 3-minute opening animatic. It's full stop.
From here on out, the movie dog shit. Anyway, moving on. So they establish Eeyore is no longer there, and I'm like, okay, that's fair. I get that. And then this is the point when after they say this in like the dialogue or like the prologue of the dude who's like talking over, like explaining this. He's like, yeah, and then this moment in time after they ate Eeyore, they became more animalistic and they grew an intense hatred of humans, because if Christopher Robin was still here, they wouldn't have had to resort to these measures, blah 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 blah. And then the narrator's like, and then they proceeded to never talk human speech again. They returned to their animalistic tendencies. And I'm like, great, I get it. So this is why they're fucking crazy. Fantastic. You've sold me. I am ready. At this point in the movie, brother, I was fucking ready for Murder Pooh. They got me. They had me hook, line, and sinker. I was all in. I was like, dude, you've done it. I didn't think you could do it, but you've made me a believer in your cause. I am here for it. I am ready for the fucking murderous, horrible fucking Winnie the Pooh that I'm going to get for the remainder of this 84-minute runtime. Well, that's it. That they from there on they never brought me back. That's all there is to it. I was never brought back. They never utilized that. They never took that trust and gave it any meaning. They said, "Oh, you trust us? Great. Watch us spit in your face and make Pooh Wicker Man in the last 10 minutes of the movie."
Yeah, it was quite frankly impressive how quickly they managed to just throw everything that they had built in those first couple of minutes in the garbage. Like even I can even excuse what comes next, which is Christopher Robin as an adult. We time skip 5 years, so from the end of the animatic is Christopher Robin going off to school and becoming a doctor. Specifically, they're like he's going to become a doctor, and then they time skip 5 years, which is, I mean, maybe the first most unbelievable thing, because nobody becomes a doctor in 5 fucking years.
That's true too. Yeah, that's very true.
That does not take only 5 years, unless Christopher Robin is some kind of boy genius. Which,
I mean, he might have been like in between. You know, maybe he was just done with his undergrad and then he's getting ready to go to like get his master's or doctorate or whatever. You know, like, there's some premise here.
Perhaps. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, we don't ever have to watch the second movie. But I peeped some of the ratings for the second one, and the second one is rated much higher than this first one, so
that's wild to me. But anyway,
whatever they did, I don't know. But so Christopher Robin comes back to the 100 Acre Woods, very excited to show his fiance Mary the childhood friends that he had as a child with. Yes, and she's like, in the most polite way possible, "You're a lunatic." Because obviously, who is going to believe a guy going around saying that for his entire childhood, for like a decade, he was friends with a bunch of anthropomorphic forest animals and played with them on the daily and brought them food and so on and so forth? Nobody's going to believe that, obviously. But she's there to support her soon-to-be husband, and that's cute and adorable. So she makes this trek through the woods. They come upon the first like hut or whatever, and there are the clearest red flags that this is no longer a safe space possible. There are skulls strewn about, pots filled with blood, spilling over blood, and it looks like
hooks and like butchering shit all over the place.
There's meat hooks hanging from the ceiling, and then it just looks like nobody's been there in years. So
like, brother, even if they aren't, okay, let's pretend for a minute that your fucking childhood friends are not fucking crazy. Let's be in the mind of Christopher for a second. My friends can't be crazy. That would be silly.
Fair.
But if you're here in this makeshift fucking like area with all this fucking red flag shit, you run. You go the other direction. Somebody else is here that isn't your friends. Whether it's your friends that have become your enemies or just other people entirely. Fucking cannibals live here. Fucking leave. Like, this is wild to me. Get out of there.
Yeah, there is exactly one person in this entire movie with a brain, and her name is Mary, and she dies first.
She dies in the...
nobody else in this movie basically with a brain. Maybe there's an argument to be made for Maria, who is the next like main quote unquote main character we'll meet.
No, I give her no credit for the amount of time that she had the gun and wasted it. Absolutely not.
I would agree with that scene where they're in the house and they're on the balcony, the like loft, and Pooh's just standing there.
Right fucking there.
Yeah.
Shoot him.
100%. Also the part where the gun looks brand fucking new, but it either jams or there was only one bullet in it. Whichever way it goes. Also, what's she doing with a fucking shiny 6-shot? Like who?
Right. I'm pretty sure she had like a Colt 45.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Where'd you get this?
Like, why does she? I mean, I get why she has it, but if you're getting a gun for the purposes of self-defense because you have a stalker after you, you don't buy a fucking 6-shot. Like you.
No, you do not buy a Colt 45 revolver.
You buy like a bog standard, like a 1911 or some fucking
a normal 1911, a Glock, something like fucking realistic,
some lightweight, and with like a 15 round mag. Like what's going on here?
This fucking chick comes out here like she's fucking Clint Eastwood's daughter or some shit.
Like she's gonna put a fucking cigar in her mouth and pull out a cowboy scarf and challenge Pooh to a duel in the right outside the saloon. What's going on? Anyway,
I don't even know.
Stupid.
Man.
So one person with a brain. She dies in about 3 minutes flat. And
3.4 minutes.
Yeah. new slasher record. And then Christopher Robin, he gets got. They have another neat little animatic where it shows him getting dragged off into the 100 Acre Woods. And they show him Eeyore's bones or something like that.
Yeah,
and then
I see.
The next scene of it is what, and maybe you can tell me differently, but I assumed the next thing where they show a body being burned, I thought they just burnt Christopher Robin, but clearly he shows up later in the movie, so it wasn't him. I don't know what the purpose of that fucking that shot is. Then
I think it was just a red herring. Shot. Honestly,
it's just a red herring. Okay,
chalk it up to the list of things to hate. Like why even bother? Like it'd be one thing. I mean, was it a single body? Maybe they burned Mary's body. I guess you could make that argument. I'll give them maybe that one toss up. Maybe the body burning was supposed to be Mary or something like that. Because obviously. They do go out of their way. Actually, and they do show at one point later in the movie, Crazy Pooh does show Christopher Robin as he's chained up that one like charred fucking body.
Her.
Then that's probably what that moment in that like second cold open was after they captured Christopher Robin.
Okay.
All right. So it was supposed to be Mary's fucking burning corpse, which is like, all right, fine, whatever. This is good.
Yeah, it makes sense. Also, in that hut, I mean, there's like a bunch of corpses there, but you just assume that one is probably Mary's. Right. Fucking weird. I mean, also Christopher Robin chained up in that hut for a while. He
yes.
I was there. Did they say what the time skip was at that point, or did they just kind of like roll into it? Right.
I think that they roll into, so after they get done with the second animatic, then they start like fucking. They do this like over the air radio like newscasts of like, oh, all these disappearances in the 100 Acre Woods. Oh, we lost another one on the 100 Acre. So I guess you like presume that it is sometime after Christopher Robin has been captured.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what, and they must be like keeping him alive by, I don't know, like forcing him to consume shit. I don't know.
I'm sure he's getting fed human remains.
Right, they're feeding him fucking Mary.
Yeah, I would not put it past this movie. It's never specified.
Burnt up Mary.
yeah, just charred pieces of Mary. Yeah, they do all. Yeah, Pooh also like bathes him in the blood of somebody. Who knows who? Maybe it was Mary's blood too that they've just been keeping in a bucket. But
that was my impression. Was that they bathed his ass in honey and blood or whatever.
In blood and honey. Yeah.
Of Blood and Honey by Mary. Yep, I did the movie. I did the thing. I did the thing.
Kill me. So anyway, we're introduced to Maria at her therapist appointment, and we're just like loosely introduced to this idea that she has been seeing things, might have somebody stalking her. She feels like she's always got to look over her shoulder, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, this is my first problem with this movie. This is when I knew that this movie was going to be a problem. This is my misdirect. From this moment onward, for for at least another like
Did you think she had
20-ish
seen
minutes.
Pooh?
No, I was under the impression that she was maybe, because they never explained what her trauma was. She was just seeing a therapist. They never even used the word stalker, I don't think.
No, she
just
does say that she like felt like she was seeing things in public or like she was being watched. That's like as close as they get.
I think she said like that she sees things, which is like, oh, okay, well, that's a weird way to put that. But I remember the language that she used did not sound like she was afraid of a stalker. It sounded like she had lost something very precious to her that's making her go neurotic. So in my mind, I'm already setting the stage. Oh, this chick must be like, you know, a shoehorned in like sister of Christopher's, and maybe she's like still grieving over the disappearance of Christopher Robin or something like that. This is sometime after he's been kidnapped, and like everyone's saying like he must be dead, and then she can't like come to terms with the idea that he's actually dead. And then 20 minutes later, all that potential fucking buildup that I to be fair, I manufactured myself. I didn't have to do that. But why are we establishing this character so vaguely, giving the audience and like the intent to maybe surmise things if you're just going to go out of your way to be like, so anyway, this is really what makes her fucking tell me what made her tick when I fucking met her, when I fucking meet the girl.
Yeah, I
hate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great. It just sort of, I don't even know. There really isn't a point to that plot point anyway. Like the only reason it could have literally been anything. They could have just had her been sick of city life in general. Like her job is really stressful, and so she goes out into the fucking woods with her friends. Like it does. We don't need to have this whole stalker subplot where there is no payoff. It serves no purpose because other than to like try and make more dramatic.
The only thing this fucking this therapy session accomplishes is it introduces us to the main character. Fine. There's a million ways to do that isn't this, because you're trying to establish that there is a relevant trauma with your character when you do a cold open of them in this manner, and this main character has a problem. That's all they establish. They don't explain what the issue is, what is making her upset, what could possibly play into the movie later that will either inadvertently save or cripple the protagonist's way of survival or whatever. But we know that we have a main character now and that she has mental issues. Oh, okay, great. Would have been really nice to know more about her, but we'll keep rolling with that. Fucking strike one. It pissed me off. Strike fucking one.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't. I guess I wasn't so. Maybe because I had more or less surmised what ended up being the thing in the end. Because I just assumed that she was either seeing things literally, like she just had visual hallucinations, or she was being stalked. And so then when one of those things became true later, I was like, all right, sure.
Stalking never came into my fucking wheelhouse. And you know what? Even if it did, just fucking don't even do that. Just fucking tell us. What do you mean? Why are you making it vague?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, keeping it a secret means nothing to the show or the movie, other than to have an extra scene later where she talks about it with her friends. And I guess if you want to, for the sake of an argument, it would be why she has the gun, but the gun is fucking useless too. It means nothing to the movie. So
no, I mean, I don't even mind that she owns a gun for self-defense. I mean, that's honestly the most sensible thing in the movie. But what she does with the gun and the kind of gun she has is still fucking stupid.
What she doesn't do with the gun is shoot Pooh at the most opportune moment, and then
for fuck's sake,
and then they just willy-nilly hand it over to this crazy woman that they save. And she goes, I'm gonna fucking kill them for what they did to my face. And she just lets her take the gun from her and walks out and walks into the open with it, shouting at the top of her fucking lungs for the two psycho killers to come and kill her.
What a wild bit of whiplash to just like be introduced to this random woman that for some reason they didn't kill, when we've been given time and time again that their only like impulse is to immediately kill on sight. and this random fucking woman that has not been introduced in any capacity up until now is just strung up and being slowly eaten to death while she's alive or whatever by Piglet or whatever. Like, why couldn't they have just either used Mary for that, or they could have used this other probably porn actress at the other point in the movie that got wood chippered?
This chick in the fucking blue shirt, and like they capture her alive for some reason. And so we get her, and then now a second character that just for some reason, like back to back, just for some reason, we're breaking this mold of like, they're just here to murder humans. They hate humans. Like why? There's no explanation for why they take blue shirt and then they have this other fucking random woman.
Totally agree. It makes no fucking sense to me. I think they needed to maybe establish, first of all, I hate that this random woman that's strung up is just a random woman, by the way. She should have been integrated in some way beyond her fate here. I think they probably should have just, instead of doing wood chipper chick, fuck the wood chipper and make her be the first bitch that they tie up. That would have been the number one thing I would have done. But and maybe somehow try to find like a way to explain to the audience that Piglet has eaten too much of the person, they're about to die, so he needs to he needs to refresh and maybe pick blue shirt for that. But they don't establish any of this.
No,
they just do whatever they want whenever they want.
Yeah, and and then they have this this just unnecessary bit of like fan service, I guess, with the one who gets
wood chipper chick literally got her shirt taken off for no reason. Zero reason. For some reason, Pooh is apparently not only a murderer but also a creep, because he's like, you know, it'd be better for this wood chipper thing is if I took your fucking shirt off.
I mean, to be fair, like if he was really gonna like use the meat on the other side, then like fair. But there's no. He leaves the jeans on and the boots, so really, what's the point?
Right? Like you basically just invented fan service for the sake of fan service. Thank you for that. I now feel dumber for having witnessed it.
Yeah, it's awful. It's whatever. I went past it and I went, all right, that's a choice they made. Now to move on. Time to move on.
Now we move on. So then we go back to our main character, Maria. She's hanging out at like a vacation house near 100 Acre Wood with a bunch of friends. They're all fucking idiots too. The one chick is topless in literally 80% of scenes. Maybe not topless, but bra only. Bra / swimsuit adjacent only for the next 80% of the film before she dies.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorites is the fact that they have this friend who's still on their way and clearly has shown. Well, I know, I get it, but I'm saying that she's still on her way and clearly has a bad sense of direction, and this is a known issue for this chick, and they all take their fucking phones away and don't touch them. They take every single one of their phones and they put them on a table away from where all of them can see them so that they're disconnected from the world. But your fucking other friend isn't there yet.
Yes. And I'm gonna go a step further. Every single one of them drove there together, except the one that is notorious for having a bad sense of direction.
Yes. I think she also like woke up 2 hours late or some shit like that. Like there was a conversation before Maria ends up at that derelict fucking gas station that she talks about like 2 hours. She's like 2 hours behind or something like that. I don't know. And I just, maybe I made up the part where she slept in and didn't, but either way, I'm like, I fucking also, about this.
What is up with the derelict gas station? What was up with that?
No fucking point. Just
no point whatsoever.
I assumed like maybe there would be a scene where Pooh sees her through a window or something, but that never happens. There's just a fucking dwarf that lives there, and
maybe that old guy comes in at the end of the movie and he's the MacGuffin that like saves everybody. Nope, none of it. Absolutely
it's just
not.
A fucking
literally
gas
zero
station
relevance.
That's run down and that nobody would ever in their right mind stop at. And you're like, oh, okay. I mean, fucking something's gonna happen here. It's gonna be kind of creepy, but then we'll move on. But a guy actually works there, and the gas pumps don't work. And there are cars strewn about fucking anywhere. And then she turns around to leave and runs into two more people who just showed up there out of nowhere. What are those people doing? What is happening in this fucking movie in these woods? Where are these people coming from? Where do they live? It's astounding how little things connect in terms of being relevant to the plot later or at all.
There is so little purpose to 90% of the events that transpire in this film is my biggest critique.
Yeah.
Things just happen. Nothing relates to anything. Characters are what they are, and they're like whenever they damn well please. And the decisions that they make are not based on reason. They're not based in character development. They are just all impulse 100% of the time.
And the wrong impulses, like in every single fucking choice, every dialogue option that appears in front of them, because they look like video game characters sitting in idle waiting for you to press either A or B on some fucking dialogue option, and they always choose the wrong one. It's always, oh yeah, let's split up. Or in the most egregious one is with a stereotypical hot blonde chick in the fucking jacuzzi, and she sees Pooh in the picture and knows,
literally fucking sees her.
It's not the stalker. The stalker's been Maria's stalker. He's been taken care of, but she thinks he is, and she still goes, fuck it. Her like exact quote is
you're not gonna ruin
my night. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
He's there. Even if it is the stalker, he's there. He has just shown up. He has tracked you miles away from her normal abode and has shown up there and is threatening her again. What do you mean you're just gonna fucking leave it alone and go back in the jacuzzi?
I can't.
She deserves death. She deserved what she got. Her death. Like the rest of them, okay, sure. Like they're victims. Whatever. The two red and blue shirt, the lesbian couple.
Yeah, the lesbian couple. Right.
They split up the party. That's a horror movie stereotype. Whatever.
Always a bad idea. Always a bad idea.
Was gonna happen anyway. Of course so. But like they didn't like do anything else besides that super dumb, other than when the red shirt dies, I think is dumb that she didn't just climb out the fucking swimming pool. Like she just hops her way over to the deep end.
Oh my, right? Yeah, what was she doing?
I don't get it.
Leave, swim, do literally anything else than what you're doing.
Especially when Piglet gets in the water afterward, why don't you just like try and get out the side? You just jump to the other end and accept your death? What do you mean? Try at least like claw at the wall and try and fake like you care about your life. Insane.
The amount of disbelief suspension that this movie required was getting dangerously close to being too much for me. Dangerously close. Yeah. It definitely required me to suspend too much disbelief. That I can say wholeheartedly. But it was almost to the point where I was like, I can't finish this movie. I can't, which I would never do to the people. Yeah. But it still felt it. I felt it. I felt the feeling.
It was just it was unbearable at some parts. I just could not believe I could and couldn't believe the choices that these characters were making. I couldn't believe it because it makes no logical sense, but I could because it's a garbage movie. So of course they're just gonna die for the sake of dying because it's a slasher film.
Like I love cheesy slasher shit. Just put me in a position where I at least as an audience am like, well, there's not a whole lot you could have done. I never felt like that in this movie. I didn't feel like that at all for like the majority of the movie. I'm like, you had there options.
Was a plethora of options.
All of you had options.
You had all the options, and you chose the one bad one at basically every turn for every character.
Every single turn. Oh my god.
Awful. I want to rewind a little bit to when we first get Christopher Robin being alive in the shed because Pooh comes back.
Yeah.
And for like a hot second, it seems like Christopher Robin might be able to reach some sort of deeper part of Pooh that still cares and remembers all of the good times that they had. And then Pooh wakes the fuck up back to reality and remembers all of his hatred and so on and so forth. and then he decides to take out that anger on Christopher Robin. And did you realize what he was flogging him with?
I did. I did. I was actually. I thank you for bringing us back. Yeah, he whips him with fucking Eeyore's fucking hairline.
Eeyore's fucking tail, dude. I was like, great, oh my god, that's like, this is maybe the one moment of this entire movie that provided any sort of comedic humor or something to the
Honestly,
effect.
This is the second thing I liked about this movie. This is the second thing I liked.
What was the first thing? Besides, was it the animatic at the beginning?
It was the animatic at the beginning.
Yeah. Christopher Robin gets flogged with fucking Eeyore's tail, and I was like, oh, that's just disrespectful.
That's good bit.
That's like the one good thing about that. That's the one good decision they made in this movie. I'm willing to bet that there are some other Easter eggs in this movie in regards to references to the old book. I don't fucking remember. I don't know that.
I just want to know, like, if Pooh could always control the bees, because I didn't think he could control the bees.
Yeah. Oh man, you want to talk about things that like have literally nothing to do with anything. Pooh is just a bee-mancer. He controls a swarm of bees for no fucking reason. There's a scene towards somewhat the beginning of the movie where they just have a shot of like the opening of the woods or something, and there's a pathway running right down the middle, and a bunch of bees start flying out of it, and maybe Pooh's silhouette is in there somewhere if your brightness is turned up high enough. So I'm like, okay, well, fucking bees, whatever, I guess. And then there's another point where it looks like the bees are obeying Pooh, but you're still not quite sure. Like maybe they're just hanging around for the honey. And then
this is when they're infiltrating the house.
Yeah. Where like Pooh's covered in fucking honey all the time.
Yeah,
like,
that's
whatever.
Interesting. There's like a bunch of bees flying around him that are leaving like very suddenly. That's kind of that's an odd visual cue right there.
Whatever. And then the scene with the four fuckers and their car comes around, and the one of them runs away after Pooh has very handedly dispatched the other three.
Viciously destroyed the other three.
Yeah, because suddenly he's in a juggernaut suit. Like all that fat he's just a juggernaut now. He can take every blow and it means nothing. So now, but on top of this, the fourth guy's running away for his life, and you're like, oh, okay, Pooh's not gonna get this guy. This guy's just gonna fucking run off. Or in my head, Pooh was just gonna like throw a hatchet or something and
I thought he was gonna throw a hatchet for sure.
And then he flicks his hand and turns around. Cool guys don't look at explosion style, and a swarm of fucking bees come up, the same one, and they go at this guy. And then you're like, oh, okay. And then it cuts away for like 5 seconds. It cuts back to the guy, and he's on the ground, death by 1,001 bee stings. What the fuck?
Oh my god, what a fucking fever
I just
dream,
don't
dude.
understand. Like suddenly there's like actual magic in this universe now. Like
they just
huh? I get that there's got to be something that happened here, that we have these anthropomorphic animal human hybrid things that are Pooh, Piglet, and friends. We're probably never gonna get that backstory unless they reveal it at a probable third movie. So who the fuck knows? But now there's confirmed actual magic in this universe or something to that effect, because he can just control a swarm of bees. We're gonna find out that swarm of bees can like coalesce into an actual like bee person. I just smacked my mic.
Bee creature.
Yeah, there's gonna be like a bee creature or some shit like that. I just fucking so dumb. So anyway,
and then Pooh does dispatch. So this random group of four guys shows up after two of the girls are running away. There were three that made it up till this point, but one of them went back to kill the piglet. Right.
So, well, there's the moment where Pooh and Piglet kill that random woman who took the gun, and then the girls are loudly screaming behind a box. Pooh goes after them, two of them run away, but Blue Shirt stays behind.
Oh yeah, Blue Shirt, like she like cuddles next to the wheelbarrow and no one fucking notices her.
Pooh doesn't see her as he runs by. Sure, fine, fuck it. He's focused on the other two that are actively running away. He doesn't see the third one out of the corner of his eye. And then she picks up a sledgehammer that's just sitting there, and Piglet stands there patiently T-posing for her to hit him over the head with it, because she pops up from behind that box at about 0.5 miles an hour, swings the sledgehammer and knocks him unconscious.
And then also somehow finds the strength to string his ass up
in
the same place that the random woman was
clearly at. Like 400-pound pig man thing and string him up with chains and rope and shit, which, by the way, nobody knows in this universe how to tie a knot either, because everything just comes off like it's a fucking belt buckle. The monsters don't know how to tie shit, because they get to Christopher Robin, they all like fiddle, like they wave their hands over the knot for like 3 seconds, and it unknots itself,
and it just completely falls apart.
Who they find strung up, bound by chains. But if you look too closely, you'll just see that the chain is just kind of like haphazardly like wrapped around her hand. There's no securing of any kind. So they just sort of like tug at her lightly and she comes free completely. Also, I think there was a noose around her neck too. Whatever.
Yeah, they used rope around the neck and then chains around the hand. Whatever.
No clue how to tie knots. Whatever.
So the Blue Shirt beats the shit out of Piglet until he screams for help, and then Pooh does an about face and he's like, oh no, I gotta go save my friend,
and fucking teleports there.
Yeah, he just fucking teleports, and then the two girls that were running away up to this point were like, maybe we should go back. We should probably go back, and then they fucking go back, and then Pooh's like, all right, we begin anew, the chase begins again.
Yeah, Pooh,
we don't know if Piglet died. He's probably fine.
I got news for you. Piglet's alive. Spoiler alert for the second movie, but Piglet is alive. It's
incredible, fantastic. I'm so fucking glad.
Yeah. I bet you would have missed him in the second movie.
Yeah, I would have been real fucking upset.
Yeah, she meets an end. It's brutal. She gets stabbed through the mouth, and is probably alive for like a good couple, like a minute or something before she actually dies. So she's just like choking on her own blood, whatever. And then we chase the other two. This is when they run into the four guys, right? I think.
Yeah, this is the four guys moment. The four guys were like, they were like kind of chill. They were like, ladies, are you okay? And then they're like, we gotta go, we're being chased, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, yo, you're not making any sense. Like, normal fucking horror movie shit. And then Pooh appears and he just fucking stands there. And the boys are like, we'll handle this. And I'm like, oh boy, here we fucking go. I don't know how to feel about this. I'm not saying that this is like not how this could go down. Maybe it is, but I feel like most people would just be like, oh, okay, yeah, get in the fucking car. Like, let's get the fuck out of here. Fuck these guys. What the hell? Like, if they're sensible people, they're not gonna go, hey boys, get the stuff and then get ready to fucking gangbang this dude. I mean, maybe. I don't even know.
We're operating in a universe where I think these guys are just drunk enough and they don't actually see a monster. They see what they think is a person in a mask, which it is. I'm like willing to forgive them. They're like, oh, they want to play the big guys and like save the two girls or whatever. And sure, fine. I'm just glad none of them pulled out a gun. Because if one of them had pulled out a gun and still lost the fight, then I'm out. Then I'm really outraged. But
I would have been.
They pull out like one's got a crowbar, a bat, fucking something else, and then the other guy's got a bottle. And they try to hit Pooh, and Pooh in his head goes like, "I'll give you guys 20 seconds to do whatever you want to me," and they do. None of them really go for vital spots. I think the one guy with the bat maybe goes for the head a couple of times. So like, sure. But actually the crowbar guy hits him in the face initially, I believe. But either way.
I think crowbar guy hit him in the face once and bottle guy hit him on the back of the head with the bottle to the point where it's shattered. So I guess I can't completely fault him. But either way, like I would be taking that bat and like knocking him in the nuts, maybe smacking them in the back.
Yeah,
something that could, something that'll actually knock them
pressure
down.
Points, like they try to hit the back of the legs and stuff like that. So like really, but the point here is that as soon as you realize Pooh is fine, I'm fucking gone, dude. Like I'm out. I don't.
Right.
Who or whatever this is no longer worth the effort. I'm gone. But nope. They decide to like keep trying. And Pooh was like, all right, yeah, you had your turn. It's my turn now. And then he just handily dispatches all three of them. I just could not. He like bitch smacks one of them so hard his face falls off, which I thought was kind of funny.
that one was kind of funny. I did think that was kind of funny.
That happened. He like he takes the baseball bat guy and does something to him. I don't even remember. And then also Pooh Bear has claws, I guess, or it was the knife. It's not really clear because he slashes the third guy's throat. Fucking whatever. And then the fourth guy runs and he gets beed. He gets not the bees. He gets beed.
he gets not the bees. And so at this point the girls are like, oh well, we're in this new car that we've been brilliantly gifted. Let's drive in the direction that the crazy murderer is, because
let's try and run over the tank with our 1970s Ford pickup truck.
So anyway, that didn't work. He grabbed the back of the truck as he was getting mowed over, climbs into the bed, crawls on top of the truck. The girls are slapping the roof of the truck, by the way, like, no, get off, we don't want you here. Don't do it. I'm like, what are you doing? Drive around, try to knock him loose. Give me a car scene where you're like actually attempting something. What are you doing? They're like, no, just get off the roof. Like, no, he's not going to get off the roof. He wants to murder you. And then they finally stop. And then that triggers as almost as if they dead stopped into a tree.
I know.
Girl,
oh my God.
She hits the brakes, and I guess she didn't have her seatbelt on, which is fine. Smacks her face into the steering wheel so bad that her whole fucking face is bloodied. She's knocked unconscious. The other girl is like, you gotta wake up. You gotta drive away. He's coming. He's coming. Well, he got into the car. He grabbed her friend. And then Pooh goes out of his way. He's like, I need to find the right mood lighting. He takes this girl in front of the car that has dimming headlights and goes, I cut her head off. You see this? I cut her head off.
Now I'm coming for you. Slowly.
Coming for you. Now very slowly I'm coming for you. Chucks the head
by the way, you can
on
have
top
this.
of the windshield. Yeah, you can have this back, by the way. I just needed to do this for the cinematic reasons. Goes, I'm going to give you this head back. And then he slowly walks back towards the car. And who comes to save the day? None other than Christopher Robin, who they freed and then proceeded to fuck off from back in the camp at one point. They were like, oh, we got to save this guy. And then they hear the screaming of the random woman. And he's like, just go. I'll catch up. And I mean, he did, to be fair. But like,
it took him while he was looking for a shirt. Yeah, he had to find a shirt. He's embarrassed about the flogging scars.
He rams into Pooh as he's holding the main character girl hostage. Proceeds to pincer him between the two vehicles,
which somehow doesn't also get her, because she was definitely also leaning against the car in front of Pooh. So.
And they're like, oh wow, I can't believe that happened. Wow, that was so close. And then they start limping away. And then, Pooh in his zombie mode, he's like, oh, I'm still coming for you, as you expect him to be. And he pushes cars away. So he breaks free, and then he starts walking towards him again as they're like limping away because they're fucked up. They're hurting. Also, one of the cars explode behind Pooh as he's walking away. I don't know why that happened, but that happened. And then eventually Pooh grabs the girl again, and then Christopher Robin's like, why are you doing? Why did you stop here, Pooh? Just take me instead. I'll go back. I'll give you. This is probably the only other smart writing that I liked in this movie was the patented "take me instead." I'm a sucker for a "take me instead."
Okay,
you got me here.
Interesting.
You did get me here. Right. This is my third. This is my only third or positive review. Is I like the way that this played out from here on out. It's Christopher Robin goes like, okay, fine, you can take me. Just let her go. I'll be with you forever, because that really is the crux of what drove Pooh to madness, is that he was abandoned. So this is coming somewhat tiny bit full circle in Christopher Robin being like, I'm going to be with you forever. It's going to be you and me. I'll never abandon you again. Potentially playing into that insecurity in Pooh here. Very minor good writing. We've done it somehow, some way. You've done
Somebody
it.
in the writer's room used a brain cell.
Used one brain cell in this moment. Finally, I can't believe it. They finally came up with a brain cell. And then Pooh is like, "You left us," and kills the girl anyway. And then Christopher Robin's like, "No."
Yeah.
And then that was that it? Does it just like end there?
It fucking ends, Brendan. Pooh slashes her throat and then stands there patiently as Christopher Robin holds her, slowly dying. She falls to the ground, unable to hold herself up anymore. She sputters, "Go!" at Christopher Robin, and Pooh only then does Pooh begin to approach again. And I think a logical thing here for Pooh to do is to go recapture Christopher Robin, right? That's what he's been after this whole time. Yeah. Go recapture the prisoner. No, Pooh goes and instead quintuple taps the woman whose throat he just slashed. He decides to, instead of chase Christopher Robin, who he can probably outrun, he falls to his knees next to the dying woman and stabs her repeatedly in the skull 5, 6, 7 times. And the movie fucking cuts to black as Christopher Robin runs away from that scene. What the fuck? Why? What do you? Not even Pooh has a brain. I mean, that was kind of clear already. He's just a psychotic killer and he's just killing for the fuck of it. But he's just a crazy. His own motivations no longer make sense anymore. Christopher Robin is the whole reason for all of this, and he just fucking lets him go for no reason.
He just lets him go.
He just fucking lets him go, and then the movie ends.
That's it. We're done. We made it. 84 minutes of time totally fucking wasted.
Fuck me, dude. Fuck me. Unbelievable. So
I can't tell you how glad I am for us to be here. Christian, wow. Also, by the way, this is another movie with Christopher's in it.
Well, yeah, Christopher, not Christian. It doesn't count.
Okay, you're right. That's fair.
Okay, so we talked about the sequel that we both know happened. It came out earlier this year, and it got better reviews. Also, like I said, they apparently went bigger, better, probably had a larger budget than whatever this movie's was, given that it was successful enough to garner a sequel. So they clearly went bigger and better. But Brendan, this movie is directed by a guy named Rice Frake Waterfield.
Okay.
It's also like written, executive produced, directed, like basically every major part of the movie is this one guy's baby.
Yes.
He didn't stop there. This man has very, very big plans. Brendan,
no.
Allow me to introduce to you the TCU.
What are you talking about? Stop. What are you saying?
TCU.
What are you saying to me right now?
Twisted Childhood Universe.
No.
This man and his group of friends have not been satisfied with Winnie the Pooh. They are going out of their way, Brendan, to take multiple public domain IPs from your childhood and turn them into fucking horror movies. Allow me to recant you their current plan for the next few years, Brendan. They have a Marvel style phase 1 plan for the TCU. I shit you not. It is not nearly as in-depth. There are not as many movies at stake here. We're not going to get 10 years in between. We're only going to get we are going to get Pooh versus insert other IP, Brendan, here at some point. I'm sure you're joking, but it's true. Here is the current TCU plan as it stands. So
fuck me.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 came out earlier this year. The next slated release is Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare.
Oh, for fuck's sake! God damn it!
Wikipedia has descriptions for all of this stuff that they talked about. Okay, I'm gonna try and get you through some of these. Are you ready?
I'm not, but I am.
Okay,
go ahead.
So
just
I'm gonna ignore the first part. It's just like it's Peter Pan and Wendy. It's based off of. We know this. The same people are going to be producing and developing and directing and so on and so forth. Here's the the brief plot hook. The plot will center around Wendy's search for her brother Michael, who has been abducted by Peter Pan and Tinkerbell. Frank Waterfield stated that Tinkerbell will be, quote, heavily obese and recovering from drugs, end quote, while Jeffrey stated that the character is, quote, hooked on heroin and convinced it's pixie dust, end quote. The film is set to be released in 2025.
Oh my fucking God, dude.
There's no mention of Peter Pan, but Tinkerbell is a heavily obese heroin addict.
What the fuck, man? What the actual fuck?
Okay, so that's the next one. These couple of movies only say 2025, so maybe some will come out before others, but more or less, they are 2025. Next on the docket, Bambi, The Reckoning.
Stop! Brother, we already made that joke on SNL!
Nope, it's a whole movie now. The plot follows a woman named Xana and her son named Benji, who must fight to survive when they find themselves prey to a killing machine of a deer following a car wreck. Jeffrey described the film as, quote, an incredibly dark retelling of the 1920 story we all know and love, and apparently also finding inspiration from the design from some Netflix movie called The Ritual.
Okay.
There is not nearly as fun of a quote as heavily obese and recovering from drugs for this one, but that's the next one. Yeah. Next, following Bambi, also still 2025.
I hate it.
These are all coming. We're working on all of these simultaneously. Because, fun fact, this movie that we just watched took only 8 days for them to film from start to finish. So
I can't. Wow, color me surprised.
Color
me fucking surprised.
They can pump these motherfuckers out. Pinocchio, Unstrung.
Okay. Yep. Honestly, that's low hanging fruit. We've already got fucking Pinocchio Dark Souls. So seeing Pinocchio in this fashion, honestly, fucking that tracks.
I actually think, now that I'm saying it out loud, I think there's already a Pinocchio horror movie out. Not like,
I'm sure there is
like a semi-recent one, or maybe I'm misremembering or misconstruing or something.
I bet you could rewrite Pinocchio to turn it into Chucky somehow. I'm sure that could happen.
I think I'm remembering a game trailer. I think there's like a Pinocchio game.
There is. It's called Lies of P. That's what I'm talking about.
I know you're talking about Lies of P, but I think there's like a different Pinocchio-based horror game out there or something that in the last 5 years or something.
The interconnected horror-based Pinocchio franchise.
I'm out of breath, Brendan, but there's still more to go.
How many?
Yes. So the last movie, the last movie to be released in 2025. This is the actual title. This is
only the last movie to be released in 2025. Correct. This is not the end of the list.
This is not the end of the list. This is the 2025 Avengers movie. This is where we get them all together. Brendan, it's called Pooniverse. Monsters Assemble.
I fucking hate it.
It's called Pooniverse.
You can't do this to me.
And I am in awe, Brendan. I cannot tell you. There's more, and I'm gonna get to them, but I cannot tell you that I went from fucking hating this movie to still hating this movie, but also being like, the audacity. This
fucking audacity.
This brought me an uncomfortable amount of joy to hear that he had a fucking like 3-year plan for what he's gonna do with all of these public domain stories and shit from your childhood.
Dude.
Let me read you a brief thing for Pooniverse. I hate that fucking name. The plot will reportedly include characters from each of the preceding installments as the murderous versions of characters from the children's fairy tales team up to hunt down the individual survivors of their massacres and seek to take over the world in the process. The team of nightmarish monsters will include returning characters such as Winnie the Pooh being the team's leader, Tigger, Piglet, Owl, Bambi, Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, Hook, Pinocchio, and the Cricket, while also introducing Rabbit, Sleeping Beauty, the Mad Hatter, and others to the group.
Brother, what are you doing? There's way too much happening in that fucking cast list. What is happening?
Oh fuck.
What is actually going on?
I'm so I'm so happy this exists.
I hate it. I am seething. I am seething in this moment.
I don't know if I love this because I knew you would hate it, or because this just actually brings me joy to know that somebody is going out of their way to do this. But for whatever reason, at this moment, I love this. Okay.
For fuck's sakes.
Here's phase 2. Here's phase 2, Brendan.
I hate that you called it that. I hate that you said that out loud. I really do.
He doesn't call it that, but I'm calling it that. And when he listens to this, he'll adopt it also. Right. The third, this one won't be surprising. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 3. Oh, you sure? The second movie, I'm sure, still made enough money, because I'm sure they did it on their $5 budget and then made enough to doubling $5 is not hard. So.
Yeah, it's not that hard to make $10.
Blood and Honey 3. Got it. Cool. Apparently will feature Rabbit, Heffalumps, Woozles, Kanga, and Roo. Don't know who the last.
They're all characters from Winnie the Pooh. Roo is a kangaroo.
Yeah.
Heffalump, I don't remember. Who's the other one?
Woozles and Kanga.
I don't know. I think Kanga might be the mom.
That's probably true. Kanga and Roo. That would make sense.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
They're just like tertiary, quaternary Winnie the Pooh characters to just bring it up. Okay, next. These two, the rest of the movies don't have, that's slated for a 2026 release. The rest of the movies don't have a year release. They just are being said to be confirmed.
Holy hell.
Awakening Sleeping Beauty. So now we're going after more grim stuff.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And specifically targeting some more.
Which, to be fair, Brothers Grimm, like Cinderella, was Sleeping Beauty, like all of these old fairy tales do have like darker retellings through Brothers Grimm. Like this has already happened.
Yes,
but like, for fuck's sakes, guys, what is wrong with you? To make an interconnected universe out of all this shit is just too.
All of this. Which, to be fair, to this point, none of this has been grim. This is the first iteration of grim stuff that they're adapting. None of the other stuff. Peter Pan, Bambi, Pinocchio, none of that's grim. So
does Alice in Wonderland count as a grim? Is there a grim retelling of that, or is that just its own standalone thing? I guess it would be its own standalone thing, right?
I don't know if Alice in Wonderland is grim,
or at the very least, like there's a Brothers Grimm installment of Alice in Wonderland. I don't think there is. Now I think about it, I think it's its own thing.
It is. I want to say Alice in Wonderland is grim.
Either way,
if they introduce the Mad Hatter in the Pooniverse movie, then they will have to dip their toes into Grimm. So anyway, Sleeping Beauty, Awakening Sleeping Beauty, and then the final confirmed movie they have in the TCU is Snow White Returns.
All right, thank God. Thank you for bringing me to the end of this fucking list, Christian. I am more mad now than ever. I'm sorry. Did you have more to get into?
The last little blurb here is just basically a quote from the man himself, Rice Frick Waterfield. He has expressed interest in creating films also about Thor, which Thor feels like a weird like pull there. Teletubbies, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the Powerpuff Girls.
That's fine. Well, I mean, listen, I
don't know when any of these things go into public domain. Probably not anytime soon, but
none of those things are going into public domain anytime soon. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like first debuted in the 90s or something, maybe the 80s. Anyway,
it works a little differently for like TV and film, I believe, than it does for potentially for like books and literature and music. Maybe I'm not up on my public domain copyright laws, but I know that
all I'm gonna say is, Reese, we need to have a chat. You and me need to have a sit down 1-to-1. You need to stop. You need to get help. Okay, you can't. I mean, you can, but stop.
My man's having the time of his life.
I can't. I hate that you told
Winnie
me this.
Winnie the Pooh
this
came out of public domain, and maybe he knew that ahead of time. Maybe he saw the announcement with most of the rest of the world and went, "Wait a fucking second, I can work with this.
I can
He
milk
woke up in a cold sweat one night and wrote down Winnie the Pooh horror universe ? Profit.
Jesus fucking Christ. I hate it.
I
fucking hate it.
I love this. I'm not, again,
you're just as bad as he is.
Not sure if I love it because you hate it or if because I just am genuinely morbidly intrigued at what he does with this stupid fucking universe. But I have a couple more fun facts before we get to your get to the games. So
for fuck's sakes, please get me out of this hell.
For the fun of it, I went to r/public domain as part of writing the summary. And wouldn't you fucking know that the top post of all time on r/public domain is Winnie the fucking Pooh related. To be fair, only loosely related to the movie, because what it actually is talking about is some animated movie that is happening, but the title of the post is like, finally not a horror movie. So someone is making some cute little Winnie the Pooh movie that is going to actually be family friendly, and this person was like, thank God it's not fucking Winnie the Pooh
somebody's
again.
Using public domain correctly.
Yeah. So that I thought was funny. Also, as part of this one's more of just like a weird coincidence, I was looking at for the fake podcast name in the review, which, by the way, I was very proud of myself for coming up with public domain expansion.
That was pretty good. Good old Naruto reference. We love a good Naruto reference.
Wait, hold on. Naruto.
Was that not what you were? I thought you were making a domain expansion jutsu.
Well, it was. I was aiming more at Jujutsu Kaisen because that's the hotness right now.
I don't know anything about Jujutsu Kaisen. To be fair.
So anyway, I was looking up podcasts that might deal with public domain and just generally speaking might have public domain in the title, or if some off chance that somebody else thought of this idea and I didn't want to copyright them in my stupid summary.
Okay.
And I came across one podcast, and this podcast in particular was nothing special. They did 30 or something episodes or whatever about public domain and then canceled it. But I looked at the network of podcasts to see what else they did, and I clicked on one in particular, and it had to do with they talk about fairs and amusement parks and stuff, and they just will sometimes go out and have themed episodes. And the most recent episode, wouldn't you fucking know it, was Winnie the Pooh ride themes. I could not fucking believe my eyes. I was like, what an awful coincidence for this to happen to me in my research on this shitty, stupid movie. Oh God. Okay, one last thing. I thought this is besides the TCU, I thought this is the funniest thing I came across. The movie that we both love so much, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, was nominated in an awards ceremony known as the Golden Raspberry Awards.
Yeah, I know this one.
Oh,
yes.
Do you know about the Golden Raspberries and what they are?
But please enlighten the audience. Go.
Okay, the Golden Raspberries are actually a satirical award show ceremony where instead of celebrating the best of the best, they put on a pedestal the worst of the worst. And so each category is things like worst director, worst music score, worst screenplay, so on and so forth. This movie was nominated for 5 categories in this.
I did not know it was nominated for 5 I thought it was. I only know the big one. I don't know anything else.
What, for director?
No. Just worst picture in general.
Oh, okay, yeah. So they were nominated for 5 categories: worst picture, worst director, worst screenplay, worst screen couple for Pooh and Piglet for some reason. And worst prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel. And Brendan, they fucking swept. They swept all 5 of those categories. They won all 5 of those Golden Raspberry Awards. And Brendan, in the history of the Golden Raspberry Awards, that is the largest sweep, tied only with some movie called The Postman from 1997. Which is actually a semi-well-known movie, considering it's got Kevin Costner in it. So some high-budget movie called The Postman, starring Kevin Costner alongside probably a bunch of other actors that people know, also won 5 Golden Raspberry Awards.
Wild.
So
that's crazy.
That fucking happened.
I only knew that it won worst picture. I did not know that it was also nominated for worst screenplay, director, all these. That's incredible. I love that for them.
It was great. I love that.
And you just know that the fucking director has zero shame.
Oh, he loves this for sure. Yeah. He loves this.
Yep. Right.
All right.
I hate you, Reese.
That reaches the end of my fun facts for this movie. And boy, let me tell you, I was so excited. When I told you before we started or as we started that I was so excited to talk to you about this movie, this was why. I didn't give a fuck about the movie. I just needed to tell you about the TCU.
You need to tell me all about the TCU. I wish I didn't have eardrums. That's what I wish right about now.
Okay.
I wish I could forget all of that. I want to channel a certified Zorro moment when we finish with this podcast on all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, too bad.
I know I can't. I wish. All right, Christian, it's my fucking least favorite time of the night where I have to tell you that this movie succeeded in the box office. Christian. This is a dog shit movie about a childhood character turned into a serial killer movie, filmed in 8 days. What do you think the budget of this fucking movie was?
They made this movie on fucking pennies, I'm sure.
Give me a number, buddy. Give me a number.
There's no way that this movie was made for more than like 150 grand, and maybe that's being generous.
That's being generous in your mind.
That might be generous. Brendan, let me tell you, the entire budget went towards those fucking bees.
Absolutely.
There is no other
for sure.
anything, or maybe like blood effects. Maybe there was like one point where the woman who got stabbed through the mouth, like the blood is just ejecting from her agape maw, just too weirdly to be practical, it looked like.
Right.
So some of it probably CG and some effect. So that puts a little bit of a strain on the one guy they hired off of Fiverr. So I'm just gonna say, should I just leave it at 150K? I'm gonna leave it at 150K.
150K.
Yeah.
Well, that's your final answer.
I'm locking in.
Christian, I have no joy in telling you this. You overshot it.
I fucking knew it. I knew it. Wait. Hold on. I'm gonna knock it down like 50%. That's not truly 50%, okay. But we'll say a third. I'm knocking a third of it off. It's gonna be like 100 grand or something.
Okay, is that your new final answer?
That's my like secondary answer. I don't have to get credit for it, but I'll say it's probably like 100 grand then.
I will award partial credit. You nailed it, bud. It's exactly 100 grand.
Christ, dude. I'm
happy to award partial credit.
I'm not surprised in the least.
I swear to God, I would almost made a comment that's a little too personal. I won't say that comment. Moving on, Christian.
Okay, man. Yeah.
Just give me it. What did it make? Tell me what you think it made. We all know the criteria for being a successful movie. What did it evidently make?
This movie probably made a couple $1 million. Like just the idea of it alone, the shock factor of announcing a slasher film starring the characters you know and love definitely is enough to get people in the seats. How much credit do I want to award this film? I'll say.
How much credit do you want to award this film?
I'll say $3.5 million.
$3.5 million.
Yeah, and God help me if it made anything above 10 million.
For those keeping track at home, that means that this movie made, in Christian's estimate, 35 times its budget.
Yeah.
35. To say that would be a successful movie would be an understatement.
Yeah, it's a blowout success at that point. 8 days and 100 grand. That this movie easily made a couple $1 million. I just hope that.
Yeah, what an incredible turnaround that would be, right?
I just hope that it didn't make anything above 10. I'm worried I lowballed. I'm gonna stick to 3 like last time, but I God help me if it made over 10.
This motherfucking movie is what a whiplash of a fucking number we got here. I mean, I can satiate you a little, Christian. It did not make 10, okay. But even still, 8 days, 100 grand investment. This movie made $7.7 million.
Oh my God.
What a fucking turnaround. The fucking investors would be lining up at the fucking door. Can you please turn my 100 grand into $7 million in a week? That'd be great.
Yeah, this movie also had like an extremely limited movie theater release in the first place too. It was not in theaters for very long.
I bet it could have broke the 10 million barrier with enough time spent in theaters. I hate it. I hate everything about this. I hate that I have to tell you that this was outrageously successful. 77 times, in fact.
That's just the worst. This is awful.
I hate it.
And you know what? You know what else is awful? Because I was just looking at IMDb. Well, I know that sounded like a segue to my Letterboxd reviews, but I just came across this IMDb article that leads to a different article. They I think just released a trailer for the Peter Pan Nightmare movie like 2 weeks ago. This article from IMDb is from September 2nd. They just released a trailer. We should watch that after.
I'm not watching. I'm done with this entire franchise. I'm never coming back to this interconnected universe ever again.
That's awful. Oh, you definitely are.
I'm absolutely never coming back here ever again. Okay. You can't make me.
Let's get this let's get Letterboxd reviews on the road, man. The last time we talked,
how was finding Letterboxd reviews for this? I gotta know.
This was great. I thought this was gonna be great. It was great. I had a great time.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you had fun finding Letterboxd again.
It was
it was
awesome.
A thankless job.
It was awesome. I usually love Letterboxd. Very, very few times has it let me down. Like it did last time. Good Boys was not the most rich experience on Letterboxd. People were kind of meh on it, and also Good Boys was one of the lowest averaged Letterboxd review movies that we had ever seen. I think at like a 3.6 or something like that, or 3.3 maybe, whatever it was. But that was easily trumped this week with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Oh, for fuck's
standing
sakes.
at it. No. I mean, in terms of lowest one we've ever gotten.
Okay. Thank God.
The people on Letterboxd agree with the general public of everybody. Rotten Tomatoes gave this a fucking 3%. I think IMDb also gave this a 2 something. Letterboxd went even more scathing with their average review score at a 1.1 stars.
Incredible. Fucking deserved, by the way.
I
absolutely fucking deserve.
I don't think we're gonna get a lower score than that, maybe ever.
Right. Fucking wild.
And I'm fine with that. So, Brendan, I have 6 Letterboxd reviews here for you. I'm gonna start with the most liked one, as I try to usually do, unless it sucks. But this review was decent, so I'm here. This person said, "Yo, unrelease this," and then 5 fire emojis.
Oh fuck! Just it's a 1-star. I'd say 1-star review. Keep it easy.
That was a 1-star review, Brendan. We're starting off strong.
We're starting off strong, baby. Strong. Let's go.
All right.
The numbers are on my side on this one. We got an average of 1.1.
They are, yeah. All you got to do is kind of shoot roughly below or above the average, and you'll probably get most of the reviews, or will you?
I don't like the way you said that. I don't like the way you said that.
The next
I really hate the way you said that.
I am now anti-public domain.
Same, brother. Same. Another 1-star review.
Oh, close. This person gave it in
1.5.
0.5. Please remember that 0.5 is possible. Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
you gave the half star.
1/2 of a star.
Well.
Next. I drove 2 hours for this movie. The moment Pooh pulled up in the BMW, I knew it was something special.
Shut up. Oh my fucking God. I hate that this could be a high star review. Hold on.
The moment Pooh pulled up in the Benz, bro. Or the BMW.
Oh my fucking God. Shit. I think this guy liked the movie. That's what I feel in my heart of hearts. I am going to guess he did not love the movie. I'm gonna hit you with a very moderate 4 out of 5.
You're right. This guy did not.
We did it.
So you celebrated too soon. This guy did not just like the movie. He loved this movie. He gave it a 5 star.
Come on, man. Stop.
He gave it 5 stars.
Oh,
Pooh in the BMW. Everything this guy needed.
Everything the man needed was right there. Oh boy, what a guy!
All right.
What a man.
I have 3 more reviews. Let's do.
For fuck's sakes.
Let's do this one. One of the
Let's do this
absolute worst pieces of irredeemable garbage I have ever seen. Just terribly, abysmally, horrifically, offensively bad. I'm so happy it exists. Thank you to everyone involved. Welcome to the public domain, motherfuckers.
No! This could be another 5-star review. I hate it. No, you know what? No, he hates the movie. He's glad it exists, but he hates the movie. I'm sticking to my gun. He hates the movie. I'm focusing on that. I'm fixating on that. He loves it exists, but he hates the movie. Okay, this is still a 1-star review.
Your logic was spot on, but he gave it a 0.5.
Fuck!
Yeah.
Damn it!
Hated the movie.
God damn it.
Okay, down to the last 2. Let's go here. I was 45 minutes into watching Miss Congeniality and the disc stopped working. This felt like the most logical replacement.
Of course it did. Oh, that's the review. That's where it ends.
Review.
Well, I'm just going to say another 1/2-star review.
Other end of the spectrum, baby. This was a great movie for them. This was a quality, logical replacement 4-star movie for them.
I hate people. I hate everybody. That review had no substance. There was nothing to latch onto in terms of what you liked or disliked. You just gave
said
me,
it was the most logical replacement.
You informed me. What are you talking about? Yeah, but then how did you feel when you watched it? What do you mean?
Well, you know, I think the important part is to related to Miss Congeniality, a movie that I think people like.
Right.
And if it's a logical replacement, then surely that means they also enjoy this movie.
Right. Yeah.
Last review. Right. Let's see if Brendan can pull it back. This person.
Spoilers, he can't.
Well, let's not get too far out of the way. This person said, had to rewatch it. This is easily one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. I loved it.
I hate that. I hate that I hate that.
Brendan, I cannot tell you. There is an unending amount of reviews of this style where it's like garbage, fucking garbage, wasted my time, hated it, 84 minutes, forever wasted, love it, would watch again.
This is, I think this person. Okay, so when the last guy who was like, I'm so happy it exists. Okay, so he never said he loved it. He said, I objectively know it's bad, and I'm so glad it exists. That's why he gave it the 1. This person says, it's so bad, I watched it twice, I love it. And the fact of the matter is, he loved it.
Yeah.
This is a 5-star review. It has to be.
Okay, so this particular one was a 1-star review.
What do you mean?
This was a 1-star review, but I found, like I said, many people who wrote almost word for word the exact same thing and instead gave it a 5. If that doesn't explain the duality of Letterboxd reviewers, then I don't know what does.
The duality of the reviewers at large.
Everything you have ever complained about in Letterboxd reviewers over the course of us doing this, that is them in a nutshell. They say the same thing, but they give it opposite ends of the spectrum review scores.
I'm forever
These
outraged.
People are the bane of your existence.
I knew this movie was going to bring them out in droves too. Like I knew that going in, that this was going to be a fucking cluster of a movie. Christian, I don't think I could ever handle watching this a second time in my entire life. I really don't.
Well, I mean, I definitely would if I was getting plastered in some way with my friends. For sure.
I don't think I could. I think I would be the guy in the room being like, guys, anything else, I'm begging you.
A like go-to shitty campy movie that isn't like maybe not necessarily the big ones like a Halloween or a Scream. Like, do you have like a shitty, like an objectively shitty movie that you're just like, I could watch this and get fucked up?
A shitty movie that I like to get. I honestly like getting fucked up to movies that aren't shitty. Why am I watching bad movies? Why is that like a norm for people? Don't watch bad movies. Watch good movies. And if you want to get fucked, then do that. Why are we doing this? Why is this like a passively enjoyable pastime for people? I don't understand. I can't wrap my head around it. No, the answer to your question, Christian, is nothing. I hate bad movies. I hope I never see them again.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I have one. It's called Shark Side of the Moon.
Okay, I do know that movie because we watched it together once.
Yeah,
yeah, I do know that, but I hope I never see it again. I'll tell you that much.
This falls right into the same category. I would watch that if I was getting high or plastered with some friends, or if I was showing it to somebody for the first time for them to experience.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Shark Side of the Moon is incredible for that. Shark Side of the Moon might be better than this movie.
I think, honestly, it's been a while, but I'm going to make that claim. Yeah, Shark Side of the Moon, better than this movie. And I hated that movie. I really did. I hated everything about it.
Yeah.
I fucking hated that flick.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
I remember when...
Nope, go on.
Go ahead.
No, you first.
I was gonna say, I remember when fucking Simi put that shit on our list on the wheel to spin, and I couldn't fucking believe it when we landed on it. I was like, one of you guys is rigging the election, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. I wish I knew what the budget for that movie was.
I mean, I can look it up, but I don't want to relive it.
I wonder if it's more or less than this movie. I feel like it would be more considering the CG they'd have to put in for those sharks. But
I feel like it would have to be more. Hold on. I got to know now. Shark Side. I hate that it auto fucking filled in Shark Side of the Moon. Oh, what a movie. What a fucking movie. Hold on. Let me get to the fucking Wikipedia. Hold on. Oh, it doesn't even have a Wikipedia.
Oh, really?
Does it not have a Wikipedia? Hold on. It's got to have Wikipedia. That would be silly. Yeah.
Oh, it does. In a different language, in French.
Well, it doesn't have any numbers on it whatsoever. Yeah. It doesn't have any budget whatsoever. Let me go to IMDb. Maybe they have it on it.
Here's the movie database. Oh, riveting commentary.
Riveting commentary right here.
Sorry, guys.
I got nothing. I got nothing right now. I got no monetary. Dark Side of the Moon. I'm just gonna ask cost.
Wait. All right, maybe I don't know if this is to be believed or not. This feels like not the right number. I feel like we just don't have a number on hand. But the moviedatabase.org puts the budget at only 10 grand.
What?
Which I feel like that has to be wrong.
That has to be wrong.
With no other corroborating source, I'm going to say that $10,000 is not right.
That does not pay for the CGI that was in that movie. There's no way. I mean, unless everyone literally did it for free, which is possible. Maybe it was like a college-only movie or something like that, but I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, I have no idea. Unfortunately, does not have a revenue number for Shark Side of the Moon either, so that's rough. But yeah, okay. So that was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Brendan. Thank you for joining me. And thank you to, well, maybe not thank you to Rin and whoever whispered this sweet nothing into her ear. Thank you for your Patreon support. I love you, but at this moment I kind of hate you. But also at the same time, I feel pretty satisfied knowing that the TCU exists now. I feel like that made it all worth it.
This is a certified moment where I realize for this thing that we do for ourselves and for people, that they are not trapped with us. We are really trapped with them.
Yeah.
They are the puppeteers in our lives. Mm-hmm. And it is never more apparent than when we get this as a fucking request.
Yep.
I love you guys. I really do. Why do you do this to me? Why do you wish for me to suffer?
They revel in it.
I bet they actually fucking do. That's the sickest part of it, Christian.
So anyway, if you would like to follow us on our social medias, you can do so on Twitter and Instagram at Panda Sightings. If you would like to send us emails, you can use pandasightings@gmail.com. You can find our Discord and join a bunch of like-minded individuals who enjoy torturing us at every available opportunity. If you would like to be like Rin and support us on Patreon, you can do so by searching for Panda Sightings or click the link in the link tree of our socials and or the description of this podcast. If you like anime, we have a One Piece podcast, which if you got here without listening to One Piece with a lime, then good for you. I would really love to know how you did that. to be honest with you.
I did teach us what happened to the algorithm that puts you in that position.
Yeah,
that's kind of wild.
Send us an email and let us know how you got here, because really it's astounding. Or leave a comment in the description of this podcast, because you can do that. Yeah. What a show. Anyway, thank you for joining me, Brendan. This was a great time.
This was, beyond a shadow of a doubt, one of the best times I've ever had.
We spent more time talking about this movie than watching it.
God, I hate that.
Oh God. All right. That's enough. I gotta go. Rinse my eyes out.
I'm stopping.